so I was sitting there and talking to Heidi and this other girl. We're going to go to Paris that weekend, and they laid out like this map, and they laid it all out there. And they're like, we're looking at it and just like laying out the map. And I was like, where's the Eiffel Tower? And they're like, right there. And I was like, I want to go.
Solo ti amo, in aria ti amo. Se viene testa vuol dire che basta, lasciamoci ti amo. Io solo ti amo, in fondo un uomo che non ha freddo nel cuore, nel letto comando io, ma tremo davanti al tuo seno, ti odio e ti amo, è una farfalla che muore sbattendo le ali. L'amore che a letto si fa, prendimi l'altra metà, oggi ritorni da lei, 1 maggio. Coraggio, io ti amo e chiedo per...
Hello, I am Leah. Welcome to the 35th episode of Journaling Through the Years. Let's do that again. Boop. Okay. Why do I have a magic wand and I'm wearing heart? It's really kind of broken, but oh well. See, depth perception. So they say, be mine. Why? Valentine's was so last week, Leah. Well, you will find out in a little bit why magic is in the air. Magic and love today. You might have already kind of got a hint at it by reading the description and the title of this video. And I'm so excited because we finally made it to this section. We finally made it to this section. I was listening to one of my favorite podcasts, 9021 OMG, where you Jenny Garth, who played Kelly Taylor on Beverly Hills 90210, and Tori Spelling, who played Donna Martin on Beverly Hills 90210, who I really like now. I think back in the day I was kind of like, Tori Spelling, Donna. She was like, it was like Shannon Doherty, of course. Then it was Jenny Garth. Then it was, I want to say it was Tori. It might have been Tori because her storylines were a lot more interesting than poor Gabrielle Carteres, who played Andrea, who they found out, she didn't want anyone to know back then because ageism, that she was so much older. And once they figured it out, once it got out that she was like 29 or something playing a however-year-old, 15-year-old, 16-year-old, it was like her... boom. They didn't have much interesting storylines for her. Ageism sucks in Hollywood and everywhere. Like, it doesn't suck. Only in Hollywood it sucks. So, some news. Well, really exciting news. This day, finally, Oregon, where I live, has decided to return to winter, and it is snowing. I don't see anything sticking yet. I don't know if I don't think it's gonna be as big as it was around Christmas and that time. But it's so nice. I'm so grateful that we have winter weather and snow at that, because I mean, I take rain, but we need a snowpack. We don't need a drought. We don't need any more droughts. We don't, we need Oregon. We have such a the fire season. There's 5 seasons in Oregon, and probably lots of places, at least on the West Coast. 5 seasons, fall, winter, spring, summer, fire. And that's sad. And so we need as much rain and snow as we can. So we have a snowpack and we're not in a crazy drought, which we have been in a couple years. And there's a lake up the road for me, Immigrant Lake, that if you've been paying attention to this channel, I have done 2 to short films on that lake, because that lake, it was a man-made lake that was covered in like the late 50s is when it was finally dammed up. But before that, there was the little city of Klamath Junction, and you could still walk along the road and see the foundations. I will put a link in the description below. You can go watch those. It's really fascinating. I think I have another one of those coming up that I was just watching, Tunnel 13. It might be fun to go up there and poke around and film local stuff. It's part of the series, In Your Own Backyard, where I kind of go and I showcase different things. Other news. Well, other news, besides it snowing, I am doing a fundraiser for my friend Michael, who is without a home structure, and I would like to, my goal is $5,000. I would like to get him at least in a motel for at least 3 months, and then have a little bit extra so that he can put that energy towards not trying to get out of the elements, but put it towards looking for a job so he has a stable place for 3 months. So I will put the description for that, or the link for that GoFundMe in the description below, as well as a link to his Facebook page. He is a DJ. He is a great DJ, and he can do events. He did actually a couple years ago. I did a premiere for 2 web series of mine, Nate and Lauren, How They Met, and Mindsick, which is coming out soon. I have a guy working on it, cleaning it up. It's gonna be out soon. I'll let you know when. Woo! And then my friend, Strength of a Woman, he did a web series, and I showcased that was shot locally, where he interviewed lots of different women, and I did 1 episode from that at the same. But it was a prom theme, and we had a prom, and it was like adult prom, and he played a lot of the music, and that was where I met him. And I don't necessarily fall in line with this sort of DJ music, like that kind of, he's all over the place, but like techno or industrial, but he has a way of like taking his heart and taking his pain or whatever he's going through, and then weaving it into this music that is very, it's like melodic and healing and powerful. And at the same time, he does silly things like Veggie Tales and stuff, and he's always working, and it's just a gem to know him. And so I would like to help him. And so you don't have to give whatever you can, if you can give, or if you could just share it, or, check him out. He is available if you have an event coming up now that, things are lifting in America as far as mask mandates and this and that. Maybe you have an event coming up and you need a DJ and you want to hire him, then go to his Facebook page and message him, and you can arrange that with him, not me. Then see, before we get into it, I'll show you the mug I have today, because it's a very special day. It's very exciting. Oh, why is it pertinent? See, it's like the glare on here. I think I need a new, I think you're cute is what it say. I think you're cute, that's all. Because, my character, no, the 20-year-old me, who is actually close to be 21. Fun fact, my 21st birthday was on the last day before I left to go to, back to America. And so in Italy and Europe, I think the drinking age is like, the legal drinking age is like 16. So I could drink. All my friends and I were going out to pubs and doing all that. And they were all like 19, 20. And they're like, oh my God, I'm going to go back and I can't legally do this. And I was going to turn 21. And there it was. Now the thing is when I did first go back, I think I was like working at a bank, and we all went out to a bar, and I was just like, oh, I don't like this. It was like, American bars are so different than European pubs and bars, where they felt very much more like a coffee shop where you could sit and like chat with people, and there wasn't it wasn't a sports bar kind of environment, it wasn't about getting drunk. When I did finally move to Ashland, when I went here for college, which is where I'm right now, back in the day, there was some bars that were much more about just like hanging out and like chatting with people, and not necessarily about getting drunk, more about just the, okay. I do not like this. It just always rolls up. I don't know what to do. Iron it, but I don't even think that would make a difference. I don't know, maybe. Really. That's the one thing I'm not good about when it comes to adulting. Maybe I should just like, there. Maybe like, cool. That might look better. Okay. So why was I saying that I'm listening to 90210 OMG? Jenny Garth and Tori Spelling watch each episode and talk about it. And so they're in season 3 and they're in the summer where Shannon Doherty's character Brenda and Donna go to Paris, and Jenny Garth character Kelly starts to have feelings and kind of an affair with Dylan, aka Luke Perry, aka the best character person ever to come out. My crush when I was 16, 17, 18. And I did like Jason Priestley. You know, I have a shirt that was like, I just want to go back to the days when my biggest problem was, you know, I don't have that shirt, but my biggest issue was Jason or Brandon Walsh or Dylan Kelly or Dylan McKay. Or I have one, just my shirt that I actually do have says, I love Brandon crossed off Dylan crossed off Brandon crossed off Dylan, and then Dylan's just there, like, as Dylan wins. But yeah, that was when I was a teenager. That was like the biggest thing. Like, who do I like better? And I'm sure there are some girls that were like, Brandon, yay! They were probably the better girls that didn't like the bad guys. But actually, when I was watching it a little bit, Dylan was a better, like, he was a bad guy because he drove a black, like, car and had an earring, and he lived on his own and his parents weren't around. Ooh, that's bad. But he was, like, sober. He had gone to, like, AA and all these things. He wasn't really a bad boy. It was Brandon who was, like, drinking and driving and, like, and ended up crashing his car and ending up in freaking jail. And I don't know. I'm like, they're really not selling me nowadays on the Brandon's the good guy and Dylan's a bad boy. Specifically, Dylan's a bad boy. Yeah. Anyways. Well, they're going into the whole love triangle thing, and Brenda is in Paris, and she meets a guy in Paris. And let's get into it. I'm so excited. I've been so busy with other things this week that I didn't get a chance to write. But here are a list of things I have done within the last week when I have found the time amongst the homework. Number 1, went to the courthouse. Why did I go to the courthouse? I have no idea why. Why did I go to the courthouse? 2, after courthouse, wandered around and some guy gave me a lemon for hot tea for my sore throat. Okay, so I must have had a sore throat, but I still don't know why. I mean, maybe there was like something with school, or why did I have to go to a courthouse in Italy? I have no idea. 3, then went to a bar at 2 p.m. just because, and I sound like such an alcoholic, but it was a pub, and I believe it was called JJ's Irish Cathedral Pub, and it was right there in the main area, like in the main, like the Duomo was right there in the main piazza, and there was a little, like, it was just a 2-story kind of small, narrow building, and you could, like, there was like an outside patio area, and then you would walk up this narrow staircase and walk down, you're on the top floor, and there was this little, balcony, tiny little balcony, and you could sit there, and only, 2 people could sit there, and you could look out. It wasn't very high off the ground, and it was just, I used to walk by and be like, I want to go up there. You know, do you ever do that, where you, see someplace, you're like, I want to go in there. I just want to go up there. That's not, you get up there, you're like, oh, well, no, we did this. And met the people that work there. Okay, whatever. I was really close to these people. I went there a lot. Number 4, met some Australians who came to the bar. Number 5, they left. That was it. They left. Well, my sister just moved to Australia and got married at this point, so maybe that's what I probably talked about. Number 5, I think I was just loving the idea of, going someplace and meeting all these people from different areas, and I've always just loved that. Number 5, they left, and then these English and Dutch kids came into the bar. I remember these. They're just so much fun. And they were around my age, and they worked at several camps in Italy. Yeah, they were coming down to work at camps in Italy for the duration. And I was like, it was just so neat to sit and talk to them and have these discussions. We went off to another bar, and along the way, I bought a ring. Don't ask me why. I want to know why, because I don't remember why I bought this ring, but I like that I was like bar hopping with these people. It sounds fun. Number 6, I also met about 4 Italian girls, which is cool because it is nice to know how someone who is just like me is in Italy. Just you wait. Number 7, I went out to eat with my friend Heidi at San Lorenzo Steakhouse, which was, I think, one of the restaurants where there was some restaurants that our parents could buy set meals, and you could just take it in and give them a ticket. And this was one of the restaurants that was down the road from where we lived. And I think that was the restaurant where there was a guy that worked there, and he was this young guy, and he was great. Like, we would go there. Yeah, I'm pretty sure this was the one. And he would come out, and he was like full of life, and we laughed a lot. And he's got to be in his 30s. And he just had so much joy, and we just had so much fun going there and eating and drinking, and it was was entertaining. And then one day I went to the restaurant for some reason, because food, and there was a sign there that said, closed. It was in Italian, like closed due to family tragedy. And I was like, what's going on? And then I was walking around, I think it was walking the route that I went to go to school, and there was a sign there, and on it, it said, there was a picture of him, and I was like, oh my God, I thought it was him. I was like, is that him? And I was like, what happened? And just you wait. On Saturday, I slept all day and basically lounged around, went out to dinner, then back to bed. On Sunday, I went to Fiesole, then dinner at La Le. Okay, hold on. Before I go on, I have to talk about my friend Heidi. I don't know why I didn't write this in there. Okay, and I'm saying her name, and it's not the same. Well, no. It's just, it doesn't matter. Anyways, this girl and I and this other girl whose name I'm blanking on right now, they were going to Paris. Now, ever since I was a little girl, I always wanted to go to Paris because I was watching this show on Saturday morning or Saturday evening, because I was not a popular teenager, and I was home a lot on Saturday. And it was this Valerie Bertinelli was the star, and it was about her. This is before Emily in Paris. The way back in the day, it was a sitcom. I don't even know what it was called. And it was about this woman that was living in Paris. And she was in her late 20s, 30s, I don't remember. And it was all about her experiences. And I was and it was obviously not in Paris, it was wherever in LA, but I was I need to go to Paris, and this is the life. I'm going to live this. And I remember I found this black and white printout somewhere, and I posted it on my wall in my bedroom. I'm going to go to Paris. And so I was sitting there and talking to Heidi and this other girl. Were going to go to Paris that weekend, and they laid out this map, and they laid it all out there, and they're we were looking at it and just laying out the map, and I was where's the Eiffel Tower? And they're right there, and I was I want to go. And we ran down the street before the not real estate, travel agent closed, and I was I need a plane ticket, and bought a plane ticket, and we flew to Italy, or flew to France. That was a crazy weekend. So we get there on a Friday, and we do let's go to they wanted to go to Hard Rock Cafe Paris. So we went there, and it was so touristy, but I was okay. Then we walked around on Saturday and saw stuff, and Eiffel Tower, went to the top, and we went to where Jim Morrison died. We went to where Princess Diana had been killed. We went to all these different places, kind of just walked by. It was slam jammed. And we went to, then there was this pub bar thing around the corner, and it said American Dream, and I got so excited because it had the John Belushi and Dan Aykroyd there, and we're like, ooh, this is kind of like the Paris, like, local version of Hard Rock Cafe. And we went in and we got food, and there's this bartender that was really flirty with me and kept giving us all these like free drinks, and it was really fun and we were laughing a lot. And then all of a sudden an entertainer came out, and there was no like stage. The entertainer just came out, and it was Michael Jackson, like a Michael Jackson. He was dressed like Michael Jackson, and we're like, wow, oh my god, Michael Jackson, what's happening? And then Michael Jackson stripped and was a woman in like just like bikini, and we're just like, oh my god. And then Michael Jackson and a bunch of other people grabbed the three of us, and we did like a can of march all the way around the restaurant, right? We get back to our bar stools, we look at each other, we're like, okay, come on. We grab our stuff, we pay, and we get out of there, and we're just dying laughing. Like, what? My friends are like, what did you take us to? I'm like, it was cool until that happened, which it was really cool. I mean, but we were 20. You know, we didn't know. We never seen anything like that. And it was like, oh my God, let's get out of here. And, yeah. And then Sunday we woke up and had like breakfast in the, you know, where yeah. And got on a plane and flew home. I remember watching a movie and all this stuff. But so I am now friends with Heidi on Facebook. I found her and I said, we will always have Paris. Because we will. That is unforgettable. So, now we move on to Sunday. On Sunday, I went to Fiesole, which is a city right above Florence, a small little city, and it has I'm blanking on things. Maybe it says it. And then to this bar. It's like I love Fiesole. I was like, in 10 years, I will live here. No, 5 years. And I was like, in 2003, I will live here. And that seemed like so far away. And that didn't happen. But I took I was like walking like, this will be my house. And there was a picture of a cat. This will be my cat. Like, this will be my town. I will live here. Just a small little city above Florence, Firenze. And it had a Roman, the smallest Roman, I can't think of the word, not awkward, staging area. That's not the word, staging area. Like in Rome, oh my gosh, I'm gonna like remember this and it'll just be right here, like what it is. And I'll definitely have pictures that I can find of Fiesole. But it was like a beautiful sunny day, and then I walked down back to town, because you could walk up there and walk back down because it was that close. And I walked back down and saw the city before me, and I was just enthralled. And it was close to the time I was leaving. It's like 2 weeks before I was leaving. And I know that. And this is where I met this guy named Vonnie, who was so nice to talk to, which is a rarity in Italian men. I would say not in Italian men. I would say that there was a lot of guys that, like anywhere, America, wherever, guys can be kind of skeezy and they only want one thing, right? Not all guys are that way. Not all guys are Dylan McKay's. Just kidding. Or Brandon Walsh's. Right. He was a good guy. We only had 2 weeks that we knew each other in person. And I'll never forget it, because, you know, it's funny, because, like, all along I'd been wanting to have that, like, Italian, or, like, romance with a foreign fling. When I made my book, my scrapbook, when I got home, I found a thing that said, can a foreign fling be the real thing? And I put it there, like, from a magazine, and there's some pictures of him and I and all his friends, and it was a precursor to what would happen in 2003 when I graduated from college, which I didn't live in Fiesole. I was still living in Ashland before I moved home for graduate school. And I met all these guys at a cafe, and lots of stuff happened, and things are still what they are. Anyways, but as a precursor to that, only a shorter amount of time, because it was still that kind of, I was like the only girl, and these guys were really cool and dynamic, but they were kind of like, they weren't your normal guy. Like, one of them was an actor, which I thought was so cool. Vonnie was a soccer player and also like a student, and he later went into the military for a little bit, and I can't remember the other people, but they were kind of like more intellectual than like your normal guy you'd meet at a pub. And I remember how I met him. I had gone to this bar for a while. I've been going to this pub for a while. So small, it was like my pub, and I was sitting there kind of, the bar was like right like that, and you walk in and there's the bar, and then right over here, here's the bar. You walk in, and it's like the bar is like that, and the people stand back here, and there's a guy, and then right here there were some stools, and I went in and I sat here and I had my drink, and there's somebody sitting next to me, and I didn't even know, I wasn't even really paying attention so much at this point. But then I think we did start kind of casually talking, and I wasn't like thinking anything really. I was just like, oh yeah, what's up, dude? Like, I like to meet people and get to know them, but I wasn't going, hey, this is the one, like, this is my foreign fling. I was just kind of casual. And I watched an American kid walk in, and he was talking in really loud Italian, like yelling at this woman behind the bar. And the woman that worked there, who was sort of my friend at the time, and she was just like staring at him, and he was like saying in broken Italian, like yelling, like that makes it better. And she just looks at him and goes, "It is better if you speak in English." And he goes, "Oh, you speak English?" And I was like, I was so embarrassed. And then he turns to me and he goes, "Ciao, Bella." And I was like, oh my God, this guy, you're embarrassing me. You're like the worst kind of person there is. And so I turned to my friend, this new friend, Vonnie, and I just laughed. I go, oh my gosh. And he goes, tell me. And so I told him. And we laughed about that. And so it began. I think that I literally like went off with him and went off in his car, and in a car late at night. Like, that's what we would do. We would just like wander, get in a car, and go to places, and and that's when he took me up. We went up, and he was like, look, and it was like the snake. Like, you could look above the city, and it kind of went down. All the lights, the way they went, they were like a snake. And I remember we would drive around in his car, and he would play. The song was "Where the Streets Have No Name." I'm blanking. Cure? U2? The Police? They all sound the same. I'll look it up and I'll play it like in this little section. Maybe that'll be... I'm afraid that I might get a copyright if I do the whole thing in the end credits. So I'll just do a little... Because that was kind of like his song about Florence and whatever. Where the streets have no... Oh, you know what? And there was another one... Where the Streets Have No Name. And I feel like there was... Wait, maybe it wasn't all of them. I'll look it up and I'll play it right here. There's a lot that I have to look up. Fiesole, if I can find like a picture of the Duomo and where the little bar is. It's a different bar now. If I can, I have a picture of me and Vonnie. It'll be right there. Anyways, that was my foreign fling. We were together for 2 weeks. The last day we were on my birthday. We went out. There was a party for my friends that I was in Italy with. I tried to take them to this place, this old, it was called Stonehenge. I didn't go there very much, but there was people there. And I, like a lot of the people that I went to, the thing was, it was very American, and it was like where all my the students I was with went to, Stonehenge. And I went there and I was like, I wanted to go to something more like Italy. And so I went. And I went there this time because there was going to be like a goodbye party. And so I'd gone there, and I took them with me, and they walked in, and there was a bouncer, and the bouncer saw they were Italian and were like, you need to go. And I was like, but why? They're my friends. I want them to go. And then I was like, okay, I'm just going to hang out with these friends for a while, and then I'll come back and meet you. So I did that, because you have to. And my friend Heidi had a boyfriend there, and she had to leave and break up with him. And she was like, oh, and they're both crying. I was like, oh, how sad. And then I went back, and I think I ended up having fun being with this guy one more time. I didn't know it, because for many, many years, for reasons I won't go into very long, I didn't know that you could friend people on Facebook. You could find them from wherever in the 2000s when Facebook was new until like 2011. And then I realized I could find these people, and I friended Vonnie, and he's my friend on Facebook. And he's married now, and I don't know if he has kids. I haven't really checked on him in a while. But he's my friend, and he's one of those boyfriends that, for the most part in my life, I break up with someone for whatever reason, and it hurts and it sucks, and I don't get away. But I eventually make some peace, and some of them I have become friends with. Most of them. There's maybe 3 of them that I'm like, get out. Don't come back. And then the majority of them I have peace with, and they are friends to some degree. And I would say 2 of them, and that would be the drama teacher boyfriend and Vonnie, that I would consider friends that I would want to hang out with again in some capacity. Because at one point in your life, and I'm not speaking from now being more of the polyamorous persuasion, but at one point in my life, it was a beautiful love affair. You loved them. They were the one and only. Okay, I'm back. I had to clear out some memory, so this is going to be a weird, fun fade. Or maybe I'll stick a picture of Vonnie in there and whatever. Anyways, so I had to delete a lot of stuff, and so it like caused the camera to shut down. Where was I? I friend my exes, and at some point I'm like, maybe, but then I get to a point where I'm like, no, I've moved on. I don't need to have that love affair again. That was a special time in my life. And that's why I friend them or make peace, because I want to have that sense of I want to cherish and hold up that moment where they were my everything, or where I was their everything, where it was a possibility that something was going to come from this. However immature, whatever happened in the relationship, at one point, they were the significant other. And it was our moment, our time. So I would say that 3 of them, well, 4 of them. One of them is now current again, but we weren't ever dated long enough to make it officially this thing. So now I guess we have. But so 3 of them are, there's no romantic feelings. Really, there's no ever gonna get back together again. 2 of them, I would say, are very dear friends, in that one of those 3, I think, always holds this hope that it's going to happen again. But his relationship and me, I was like rebounding, and I jumped into, and then it was rocky, and it was not, I was meh. And it lasted like maybe 2 weeks, and then whatever. Which you're like, well, what's the difference with Vonnie that lasted 2 weeks? He was in Italy, and he was awesome. There was more of a connection there. There was more of a union, and so you have more positive memories, because if it was in Italy, it was a foreign fling. You know, oh my God, could this be a thing? Can I go back? And then we could get married and happily ever after be married to somebody else. And so did I. And then I got divorced, and now I'm with somebody else, somebody's else. Which gets me to thinking about the nature of my relationships and relationships in general, and being intentional relationships. And God, they're hard. Because, like, you get to a situation, and this is romantic as well as deep friendships, that you love someone, especially in this time period that we're in, where it's so hot button and there's so much uncertainty. It's almost like you're like, there's a part of me that just wants to walk away from somebody that is so anti, you know, if it's like, I have friends that are anti-mask. I don't know if they're anti-mask. I have friends that are more on like the persuasion that maybe like COVID isn't as scary as we think it is. And then of course I have friends that are more, they believe that it is. I am in the persuasion that be a good person, wear a mask, whether it's not as bad as you think it is, or whether it's either way, it is pretty bad. People died. Lots of people died. Good friend of mine died. And so there's a propensity for me when things get tough to want to be like, I'm done, you're unhealthy, get out. And I'm not saying that about friendships or relationships where they believe maybe they're more of that one persuasion or the other. It's just in this age of like uncertainty and fear, everybody wants to have some kind of certainty, and there is none. And so they will hold on to whatever they think is right and say, this is the right way. And it's like, I'm sorry, but there is really no way to know. All you have to do is be a good person. Now, that comes back to relationship, is because you come across these people and you are like friends of mine that are maybe of this one way or coming along this one way, and I just want to walk away, because it's not that I'm against what they're believing and what they feel is certain. It's more the way they're going about it. And the same with one of my partners is like, guys, just stop being angry. And I think it's a deeper issue. Now, it's not affecting me. Like, he's not angry at me, or my friends are not angry at me. But I just like, And so, but it's the benefit of the doubt. Sitting down with the radar, like I've talked about before, review, agenda, discuss, action points, reconnect. Like, that's the healthy way to go. And so reading about Vani and this like romantic whirlwind infatuation relationship I had for 2 weeks that I've held to some degree, like maybe that was the one for many times of my life, especially when he came back into my life and I was married. And I remember talking to him when my ex just ran off and was, my husband at the time, just ran off and was gone for like a week or so, and he had just like freaked out on me and told me all these things that I was poisoning him, and he was psychotic and just ran off, and I didn't know where he was. I didn't know what to do, and he had been emotionally abusing me for as well as being psychotic and schizophrenic, undiagnosed. I remember like, oh, maybe Vani's the one. Maybe I should just leave my ex-husband and go to Italy. And I wasn't thinking right. I was relationship addicting. But relationships are more work than I want them to be at times. I want to run when it gets hard. I want to live in that place of infatuation and magic. But sometimes magic can be found in the hard times. Because if I can work through the hard times, the disagreements, the moments when I feel like, icky, you seem angry. No, they're just coming across from this place of, I listen to these news and this may be a thing that is right. And, whatever. I don't know. And I'm okay with that uncertainty, but other people aren't. So if I can sit down and have that guts to sit down and be like, let's do this radar, let's do this meeting, let's talk through these things. What I love about the radar is you don't have to be like, we're going to talk about this. We can make an action point and talk it through and use I statements and all that. And it's just like, we're going to do this. It is that first moment of being like, we're going to do this. It's like, we need to talk. That moment when you're like, when you get a text, we need to talk. And all day long, you're like, we need to talk. Oh my God, what did I do? Anyways, relationships are hard work. They don't suck. And they evolve and they change and they still are love. Love is ever evolving. But it's good to remember the happy times. And even if the relationships shift and you go another way, it's good to always remember those times when you had that one moment, one time with that certain person. Ciao.
Un solo ti amo, in aria ti amo. Se viene testa vuol dire che basta, lasciamoci ti amo. Io solo ti uomo che non ha freddo nel cuore, nel letto comando io, ma tremo davanti al tuo seno, ti odio e ti amo, è una farfalla che muore sbattendo le ali.
L'amore che a letto si fa, prendimi l'altra metà, oggi ritorni da lei, 1° maggio, sul coraggio io ti amo e chiedo perdono, ricordi chi sono,
Apri la porta a un guerriero di carta igienica e dammi il tuo vino leggero che hai fatto quando non c'ero, e le lenzuola di lino, dammi il sonno di un bambino che sogna, cavalier si gira e un po' di lavoro, fammi abbracciare una donna che stira cantando e poi
fatti un po' prendere in giro, prima di fare l'amore, vesti la rabbia di pace e sottane sulla luce io ti amo e chiedo perdono,
ricordi chi sono, ti amo, ti amo, ti amo, ti amo, ti amo, dammi il tuo vino leggero che hai fatto quando non c'ero, e le lenzuola di lino, dammi il sonno